Chapter 1072, The Call from Behind the Door. The contents on this mural will become reality in the physical world. Be it Klein or Leonard, they couldn't help but repeat Miss Justice's words in their hearts. If the murals on the other side determined the history of the book world, then it was only considered rather amazing. However, the discovery on this side would be enough to shake everyone's hearts and bring about a huge upheaval throughout their bodies. The pictures you depicted would definitely show up on stage in the real world, not in an illusory world. This was the performance of a deity. It's not that exaggerated, right? After Leonard repeated the statement, he whispered in a low voice, finding it hard to accept. Klein, on the other hand, started his analysis out of habit. Even if 008 can only affect a big city, making it difficult for it to exceed this range, a sequence one author of the Spectator pathway should be similar. And the visionary's uniqueness has been confirmed to be in Adam's hands. Then, what does this City of Miracles rely on to guarantee that the contents on this mural will become a reality? The divine power of the Dragon of Imagination from back then? When this book was formed, the contents of the murals had already been branded into the sea of collective subconscious, sinking right inside and spreading its infection in every direction, so as to drive generation after generation to accomplish this without realizing it. If this is true, then the possibility of making another mural become a reality would definitely be nil, as the Dragon of Imagination has already perished, and there's no way to provide any more divine power. But we can give it a try. If the contents of the new mural really happens in the physical world, it means that this City of Miracles really is liveside, and it contains a huge secret. It also implies that matters regarding the Spectator pathway goes deeper than what I had imagined. Author, there's a potion name like that. Hearing Klein's thoughts, Leonard couldn't help but mutter. Compared to how the name, Dragon of Imagination, could be stretched to make an inference to the name, Visionary, the potion name of author was more eye-catching. It made one's imagination run wild. It felt more like walking from reality and into the realm of fantasy. Audrey, who had long known the name of the high-sequence potions of the Spectator pathway, suddenly had another thought. Uniqueness, Mr. World actually managed to link up and analyze so many things in an instant. Impressive. Did I praise him too directly? Mr. World has heard it all. This hall is really hard to adapt to. No, Mr. World, I really am praising you, I really mean it. Audrey felt a little ashamed at first, but then she quickly adjusted her state of mind, trying her best to keep calm. As expected of a psychiatrist, she adjusted herself really quickly. A thought came to Klein's mind. As expected, Mr. World isn't as cold as he looks. He's the type of person who will inwardly mutter to himself, I didn't say anything. Just as Audrey instinctively thought of something, she immediately denied it. The same voice echoed around Leonard. Klein's Jayman Sparrow disguise isn't bad. Almost everyone who knows him believes that he's cold and crazy. Who would have thought? Just as Leonard's thoughts were about to wander, a voice interrupted him. Shut up. Looking at the way Jayman Sparrow was dressed, he spread out his hands and held back his laughter as he said, Look, that isn't cold enough, right? Cold? Then I'll directly press the unshadowed crucifix against your head. If you don't want your beyonder characteristic, donate it to the people who need it. Without being able to use cogitation to control his thoughts, Klein instinctively retorted. Audrey looked at Mr. World and then at Mr. Star, and her heart skipped a beat. So they have so much drama in their hearts. I could only tell that was the case for Mr. Star, but I failed to read what's under the world's poker face. Giant Boss Minnie. At crucial moments like this, the experienced Audrey forcibly manipulated her thoughts to begin reciting names so as to stop her thoughts from wandering off. Who are they? Leonard's attention was diverted. They're the hounds and horses my family rears, Audrey replied politely. A hound costs 450 pounds. Klein suddenly recalled Butler Walter's suggestion of buying a batch of hunting dogs when he purchased Mager Manor. Why is the first thing on Mr. World's mind the price? This question floated into Audrey's mind. Leonard pursed his lips. Even though he didn't say a word, he answered, Isn't this normal? This fellow has always been a little picky about this, I remember. Before he could finish, Klein coughed lightly and said. We'll continue exploring the other areas, and when we have time, we'll perform experiments on the murals. Sigh, this hall really complicates matters very easily. The main point is that everyone's privacy is brought to the forefront if we aren't focused. Upon hearing the last sentence of his complaint, Audrey and Leonard couldn't help but laugh out loud, but not by their own will. Seeing that Mr. World clearly didn't want the situation to develop into chaos again, Audrey raised her head, looked up at the ceiling, and focused her attention and got down to business. The mural on the right side controls the book world, and the left seems to affect reality. What if you draw the mural on the ceiling? What would happen? Klein immediately made a connection. The Dragon of Imagination's authority contains at least 3 aspects. An envisioned kingdom will descend upon the physical world, a declared future that will happen in the real world, and imagined objects that will be conjured. The first point corresponds to the right mural, and the second point corresponds to our guesses on the left mural. Then, could the blank spot on the palace's ceiling be related to the third authority? As long as you draw an object you imagined onto the ceiling, it will be conjured and be usable. Audrey easily understood what the world meant. Then what if I were to draw a dragon of imagination? Leonard suggested. Klein glanced at him again. First of all, you would have had to have seen the dragon of imagination without completely breaking down and losing control. Secondly, you need to restore the main details of his body. Finally, you have to know how to draw. I might not know how to now, but it doesn't mean that I can't in the future. I can hire a home tutor to teach me, Leonard grumbled in reply. And what does the main details refer to? His body structure or the symbols and labels depicted from godhood. At this moment, Audrey pursed her lips and said with a brisk tone, controlling herself so as to not burst out laughing, I can draw. This was the basic skill for a noble lady, and Audrey was quite talented in this aspect. Yeah, we can try it in the future when there's time. Klein nodded and walked towards the giant pillar right in front of the main hall. His plan for this expedition was to first gain a complete understanding of the situation before considering how to venture deeper. At the same time, he thought of something else because of Leonard's question. The symbols and labels from godhood. These contain plenty of mixed knowledge. It can even let people learn the corresponding potion formulas and beyonder powers after surviving the impact from witnessing it directly. Then, before the first blasphemy slate appeared, what would one obtain if they survived directly looking at a demigod or even an ancient god? There were no such things as potion formulas back then. Is it only through using a magic potion to advance one's mythical creature form, step by step, that the godhood aspect is able to contain this portion of knowledge? Or perhaps, after the potion formula appears, mythical creatures who used any method of advancement had the corresponding knowledge forged within them. If it's because of the 2 reasons I came up with, it means that the knowledge of godhood can change, and it can increase. Do angels of the Marauder pathway have the ability to alter such knowledge or even delete them directly? Mr. World's considerations are so deep and profound, they involve very high levels. Audrey couldn't help but sigh. Leonard couldn't control the voice in his heart either. There's such a thing, I should ask old man when I return. This fellow sure knows a lot. It's not entirely a pretense when he's acting as J.M. Sparrow. At least this sense of profoundness seems to belong to him. Thank you for your praise. Stop! With a small blood bottle in one hand and the unshadowed crucifix in the other, Klein forced himself to rein in his thoughts and cast his gaze at the ancient god's throne. They were in their spirit body forms now. Although they were unable to fly due to the restrictions from the main hall, their top speed was still much faster than their human form. It was only then that Klein realized that, behind the pillar that looked like the Dragon of Imagination's throne, there was a dark tunnel. I can't see anything, if only there was light, a thought subconsciously flashed through Audrey's mind. Then, in that tunnel, a pure and soft light shone out, illuminating the inside of the tunnel completely. Without needing to enter, Klein, Leonard, and Audrey saw a pair of double bronze doors at the deepest end of the tunnel. There were countless indescribable symbols covering the door, like countless chains that extended behind them as if they were sealing something. It gave off a heavy and mysterious feeling. In the city of miracles of the dragons, in the residence of an ancient god, there was apparently a sealed door behind his throne. Almost at the same time, the three of them seemed to look through the bronze door and into the darkness inside. Following that, they heard the loud thumping of hearts. It was from their own heartbeats. Yet they were in their spirit-body states now, so there was no such thing as a heart. After that, the bronze-green color on the surface of the unshadowed crucifix slowly peeled off, revealing a corporeal body formed from pure light that emitted a sun-like glow. As for Klein, Audrey, and Leonard, they felt a baffling sense of coldness. It was as if every cell had their own sentience and wanted to form another self. In their illusory vision, in the darkness behind the bronze door, an eye opened. Its pupil was dark, filled with ghostly blue cracks. One after another, similar-looking eyes opened too. They were densely packed together and wore a cold gaze that stared intently at them. At this moment, Klein and the others seemed to hear a silent calling. It was an extremely attractive shout. Without any hesitation, Klein's spirit body burgeoned and enveloped Leonard and Audrey. He ended the summoning and returned above the gray fog.